Merry Christmas!
Hi, this is Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This is your host, Chris.
No! God, please, no! No!
I know, I'm sorry, but he's cheap and available.
How rude!
That sums me up, ladies. Cheap and available. Good evening. How are we all doing? And a very good evening to Jamie. Jamie from Alcudia. How the devil are you, sir?
How are you, Chris? You all right? How's it going? How is it is it cold and wet down your neck of the woods?
Yeah, it is. It's been cold and wet for I don't know how long. And if you tell me that you're in warm sunshine, I won't believe you.
Not at the minute. I'll tell you what, Chris, it's a bit cool at night times, but the sun's been out today, so it's been nice. Pleasant. Not red hot, but pleasant, but it gets cold at night here, so
my heart bleeds for you.
It's about your level at the minute throughout the whole day at night time.
I can handle that. I was in Australia earlier this year, and I was walking along the front with my friend, and she puts a cardigan on. I went, "What are you doing?" I'm sat there sweating, and she said, "Oh, it's chilly." I went, "Is it fucking chilly?"
I tell you what, Chris, you can tell the tourists this time of the year because they've got shorts and t-shirts, and all the locals like us are wrapped up with fleeces and jeans on and everything. So yeah, we know the difference. We feel the difference over here.
Well, because you're acclimatised now.
Just a bit after 20 years.
Well, wow, 21 next year.
So it is. I don't look it, do I?
You don't? No, I was about to say that. You're aging well. Yeah, aging well. Look, first of all, tell everybody, I'll put links in the description below, but tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, apart from travelling out to Alcudia and coming to see me, I also do a lot of work for Leicester Fan TV as well, so you can catch me there every Sunday morning. And then also we have shows on Monday nights and Thursdays as well, similar to what you do, Chris, exactly the same as what you do. All the content, all the bad news, good news, indifferent news, fantastic, you name it, we try and do it.
Good news? When I planned this show, which was, and you'll back me up here, hopefully, was sort of last week, we hadn't yet met Newcastle. And I thought, well, there maybe be one or two players that all sort of, we could talk about leaving. But as you alluded to before we came on, we probably need a whole new 11. I mean, I exaggerate. Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite say 1 to 11, but nearly, innit? Probably 2 to 11, I think.
Yes, definitely. Well, let's start with number one, because I don't know if you saw it today in the Leicester Mercury, that we have been linked with Luton Town goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski.
Yeah, I saw that. That was we were linked with him in the summer a little bit. I think that's what was mentioned in the summer. Yes. And at the time, he didn't really want another keeper, which is very strange. But that was before Jakub Stalakovic got injured, broke his foot, didn't he? Broke his foot, I think it was.
Yeah,
but he's just come back in. He's just come back from injury, hasn't he? Last night, playing for the under-21s. So you never know.
He could be available for the Wolves game. Hermanson, fingers crossed, he'll be back. Do we need? I mean, to me, if we're looking at bringing somebody else in, I mean, look, we know Danny Ward. We know what he doesn't give us. He gives us very little. I try and defend him as much as I can, but let's be honest with you, I think he's way past that. Everson doesn't look like he's going to break through. Stolarczyk was the number 2 last year. But if we're going to bring in somebody like Kaminski, then I think all three of those could be looking at going.
I think you're right. The only thing is, though, I think you need 4 keepers in the squad, or 4 available keepers in the squad. And I think if Hermansen, if Hermansen's only out for a couple of weeks, then we don't need anything. But if he's out for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, then yes, we need to bring some other goalkeeper in, either on loan to cover. And whether it's if Hermansen is, even like I'm a bit like you with Danny Ward, I'll hold my hands up. I don't like him. But being made a bit of a scapegoat on Saturday for them 3 goals, well, none of them goals were his fault. Maybe this third one, he could have done a little bit better, but hard and low between his legs is very hard for a keeper when he's going for the high. But it doesn't give me a lot of confidence, to be honest. And I am a bit surprised he's still here. But yeah, if Hermansen's out, then I think we do need to bring in another number 1 keeper. And maybe Danny Ward will be number 3 and Jacob will be the number 2 keeper. So yeah, if he's only out for a couple of weeks, I think we might, all those Leicester fans, we can be a fickle lot sometimes, can't we, Chris? We'll just have to grin and bear it especially it's the season of goodwill, Chris, isn't it? In 8 days time, it's the season of goodwill. So yeah.
Danny Ward, he does bring out the worst in Leicester fans, unfortunately. But I mean, I think his contract expires in the summer, so I think we've only got 6 months left, I believe. Look, he probably wouldn't be even on the bench if Solarczyk had been fit enough, and Solarczyk, you don't want to rush him back, because if we rush him back, if Mads isn't right and we rush him back, then we're in the same position then that he'll have to go back out. We're back with Danny Ward again. But if he's okay for 6 months, do you not think it's just worth paying Danny Ward off? Because he's not going to go anywhere on his money, is it?
I don't think you would pay a keeper off. I think it would cost too much. Well, I don't know how that works. How you pay if you have to pay someone off? You just don't put him in the squad, do you? For the 25, if Solarczyk is fit, and you put Everson as the 3rd keeper. But like I say, sometimes you need 4 keepers on the books. So I don't know how old Jacobs is. He still 21? Is he a bit older than 21 now? I'm not quite sure. If he's under 21, I don't think he's under 21 though, is he? You don't have to sign him on to the 25-man squad. But if he is, then I really don't know.
24. It'd be 25.
Oh, is he?
25 in 2 days. No, 24 in 2 days. Sorry.
Like a fine wine, he gets better with age, I think. But I think
with Danny Ward, if we're paying his contract just to warm the bench, for 6 months, if it was 2 years, it'd be different. But for 6 months, should we not just say pay him off, let him go? Because let's say he's on such a good wage, nobody's going to pay those wages, are they, and take him off?
Might be a free transfer. Might give him a free transfer just so he can get him off the books, or like you say, mutual consent for the last 6 months, so they get some wages off the books, so they can bring someone in. But yeah, I'd prefer a proper first. When we first signed him, it was 12.5 million, and everything. 12.5 million for a goalkeeper. That's not too bad. And Brendan Rodgers said we had I think him and Casper at the same time, that we had 2 number 1s. So. Yeah, but it's not worth him, really, has it?
Well, Casper never got injured, did he? So he never had the chance to come and play the Premier League. It was always cup games. But look, I think he deserved his chance to come on, but fortunately, it hasn't worked out for him. So
unfortunately,
I think with the injuries the way they are, I wouldn't be surprised. And if we do look at another keeper coming in, then one's got to go out, surely.
If a keeper comes in, you can't have 5 keepers. Although we had 5 keepers last year, though, didn't we? With Smithies with there, and he never got touch of the ball first team, did
he? We were in the national 5-a-side goalkeeper league, weren't we? We were top of that.
Yeah, bushback keepers.
Exactly. Although the way things are going, I think you could give Ward a chance up front. Who knows? But
you never know. You never know.
No. Defence, we need
centre
to do
half, Chris. Centre half. I'd love a decent young centre half. Someone like Ben Nelson. I know he's injured. I know he can't play, but someone 2021 that can. I thought Alcudia was going to be the man, but he's been in and out. And I thought Cody was going to be the leader. Maybe play with Cody. I don't like Vestergaard because I think he's too. I think having both of them there, they're too slow. But having Connor Cody as the leader. And I know it sounds weird, but I do think we've shorn up the defence a little bit. It's a little bit stronger at the back with Cody and Vestergaard playing, but it's they're not got a turn of speed anymore, have the Chris? Old ages get up to them.
No,
They're not got that speed anymore.
No.
So
They've
I'd
got
definitely look in.
the circle of the Titanic, haven't they? Each of them.
Yeah, I'd definitely look into a young centre half that wants to play football. I think with Rude's connections, Victor Lindelof. I know he's a bit older, but Victor Lindelof has been mentioned. Harry Maguire's been mentioned coming on loan. I think Harry Maguire, the old £85 million fridge, I don't think he's worth it anymore.
I just read the other day, 190,000 a week he's on.
Oh, right, we'll forget that. Although Rashford looks like it. So, yeah, I forgot that. And we're not talking about wingers and strikers yet. I was just talking about Man U connections. He might have some young Man U defenders there that he knows he can bring in for loan for 6 months.
Yeah.
It didn't work for Suter when Suter Ken Christensen came in. So hopefully he just gets him on loan and keeps him up, and then we see from there.
What did you think? Because, I mean, Suter, I don't know if we can call him back or not as part of the loan agreement, but you don't rate him.
No, I do rate him, but he's played too many games for Sheffield United. There was a thing in his contract, that he had to play. I don't know how many games it was, but he had to play a certain amount of games. If he didn't, then he could call him back, but he can't come back.
Right. I mean, do you think he's got a future at the club?
No, he'd have been playing. He'd have played last year. He'd have played this year. If anyone thought it's it's 2 managers now, isn't it? No, 4 managers: Rodgers, Dean Smith, Enzo. And 5. Sorry, 5. Well, not you can't count Rude, really, can you? Because he hasn't seen him at all. But so 4 managers haven't rated him. So I think it's not worked for him here. Needs pastures new, and I think fair play to him. But sometimes it doesn't work, does it, Chris? Over the years, we've seen many players turn up, and it just hasn't worked for them, really, unfortunately. But we need a good young centre half.
Well, you mentioned in Ben Nelson. I mean, I think he's got a future at the club. It's a shame that he's got injured. Again, otherwise, maybe he could have come back. We do need to do something with that central defence. I mean, I thought Cody and Vestergaard, he's got the experience, but like you said, they haven't got the speed. Cody looks like he's auditioning for Dancing on Ice. He's sliding in that often. But when I look at the options, Wout Faes, please. Oh. I said when Rude started that every player, even the ones that I didn't rate or didn't like, clean sheet. Let's see what they can do. But Wout Faes, waste of space for me.
He looked all right when he first turned up, didn't he? He looked pretty good. He said, what we bought here. Like I can't remember his name from the old Chelsea player with the long hair, curly hair, liked him. David Luiz. No, David Luiz. David Luiz looks like him, and he played like him a bit, but then he's just gone downhill, hasn't he? And I think his confidence has shot because there was no backup players. He knew he was going to get picked first up. He was going to be one of the first picks. He had no competition for places. Now he had competition for places. He knows he's not going to go in, but Van Nistelrooy seems to think, he's on the bench and he can do a job for the last 10, 15 minutes of game. So he might have some kind of future, but he could. According to form, we've got money, haven't we, Chris? So no one knows how much, but according to form, we've got some money. If Faes goes, that's a bit more money into the old war chest, and you never know. And if some wages off the wage bill, so hopefully we'll have to wait and see. But we need a decent young centre half.
Was it the Brentford game? Wout Faes didn't put one tackle in.
Well, the Newcastle game was the same with midfielders. Let's not talk about that. Let's stay on to transfers, Chris. Let's be on a happy note and stay on transfers. Let's forget about football for a minute.
We can't. It's a football channel. I'd love to talk to you about Mallorca and holidays, but we need a right back as well, don't we?
We need fullbacks, that's for certain. Christensen and JJ are doing the best. Ricky P's out till March, isn't he? So there's not looking like any good for him to be back in time for the start for the Premiership. So he might not be in the squad. For having him back for the last 6 games, I don't think will be a waste of time having a squad number. So with JJ and Chris Jansen and Luke Thomas, they're the only 3 fullbacks we've got. And JJ hasn't given me the confidence he has done before his injury. When I was there for the Chelsea, West Ham, and the Brighton games, and he didn't look like especially the West Ham game, his confidence was shot at. He didn't look like he wanted the ball. When he got it, he looked nervous, and whether it's confidence, whether he's one of these that needs really confidence, because when he first came here, he was flying, wasn't he? It was nearly in the England. I think he made one of the England squads, if I remember rightly.
He made one England squad, got injured, and came home and was never seen of again. But do Justin, when you look at his CV, it says left back and right back. But to me, he's very, very good as a left back, but that would mean dropping Christensen. He doesn't fill me with confidence at right back. And I thought for the first couple of games under Rude, he looked a little bit better. But I think I can have Justin on the left, although it would mean dropping Christensen. But look, we need more than one in each position. But I really think we do need another right back.
Yeah, I do. With Ricky P being injured, yes, I think a right back. I mean, so far, Chris, that's a key part of centre half and a right back we've decided we needed. That's 3. So not sure we're going to have that much money to spend if we need money elsewhere on the park as well. It's like Football Manager, isn't it? You've got to try and judge your accounts perfectly to see what you need. But yeah, we do.
Is there a cheat mode? Although
there's no cheat mode.
According to Chris Sutton, there might be at Leicester, but that's another story.
Yeah, well, that's Chris Sutton all over for you, isn't it? Yeah, but I think JJ confidence. He needs someone to be able to give him a kick up the arse from behind and help him push on. We need some competition for places, and with him, there's no one. To be honest, Chris, you couldn't really put another fullback there, another player there, could you? Really? There's not another fullback. No. It's not like you could say you could put Wout Faz at fullback. Sorry, because it's different. It's fullback to centre half is a different kind. You need positioning, you need overlapping. Unless he plays wing backs and he plays Decordova-Reid at wing back on the right hand side, pushes Justin into the back 3. I don't know. You might be able to play Decordova-Reid because he did play there for Fulham, but not as a fullback. You could play Chowdhury there, but
I was going to say, would you shout at me if I said Chowdhury?
I wouldn't shout at you, but I'd want a regular fullback, not a part-time fullback in the Premier League. To be honest, you could do it years ago. Ali Mocklin used to do it years ago in midfield and drop back to fullback. There was plenty of players, but nowadays each position, especially defence, is you need the specialist position there, don't you? So I think a fullback, either side fullback, because JJ could play left back. So if we get a quality right back, then JJ could move over to the left hand side, like you say.
I think with Ricardo as well is, even when he comes back, how long is he going to be back for? He is a bit of a sick note, and he's not not his fault, obviously. He got injured and he's never been right. So if we don't sign anybody, rely on Ricardo. Ricardo comes back 2 weeks later, he could be injured again.
He's a little bit made of glass, isn't he? His legs are made of glass at the minute, which is unfortunate because he was a quality player. And then you normally find with injuries, though, Chris, don't you, that sometimes it starts affecting the other part of the body that isn't injured. And when you come back, it's something else that's injured. But I think Ricky P is going to be
as well, doesn't it? Because you're starting to think, "Oh, should I go in for this?" And I feel a bit. I don't think I should go. And obviously, then you've lost basically all your potential.
But a quick question, though, Chris, for you about defending. Tackling's gone out the game a little bit, hasn't it? So there's not that many injuries due to tackles now. It's more impact injuries and not sprint running injuries or whatever you call it, sprint injury, twisting and turning. There's not many impact injuries from tackles anymore, is there? So not old school anymore, is it, Chris? Not old school anymore, is it? No.
They wait till they do it in training. We've got Harold Shipman as our team doctor. I think at the moment everybody's getting so much. I'm not swearing at you here, but I think you'll probably agree with me. Luke Thomas has got to go, really, hasn't he?
Yeah. His course has run for Leicester, I think, unfortunately. Young lad, but his course has run, I think, unfortunately. He looked good again when he came. Then he went on loan into Sheffield United last year and somewhere else that I can't remember off the top of my head after Christmas, Middlesbrough. He didn't set the world alight. He hardly played any football. And once you get into that groove of sitting on the bench and not playing, you get into that groove and you get a bit disheartened, don't you? And I think he needs a new, fresh challenge. A bit like Suter. Him and Suter both need to go. Well, sorry, they don't need to go, but they could do with going to get regular football and a fresh challenge. Yeah. Clear the boards completely with them two. Move them on. Bring others in. I think. I think Thomas' course has run. Unfortunately, considering he's I think he's counter-sort, isn't he? I think he is he?
Yeah, he's a local lad. And we would have been stuck that one season without him. But look, it's unfortunate. But
he was part of the FA Cup winning team, wasn't he, Chris?
Yeah, so indeed. I think we probably spent all the budget already, like you said. But we'll have a look at the midfield anyway. I thought the midfield. Hello, we're well covered here. And then suddenly we've got Chowdhury and Skip. Now, Chowdhury, look, we know what he can do. For me, he's a squad player. He's not a starting. He's like when you want somebody to come on for the last 20 minutes or so, put the foot in and let them know that they're there and just break things up. And we know what he can do. But he was so ring rusty, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. It was very ring rusty. Him and Skip didn't play very well together at all. There was no coordination. I think this is the stats I couldn't believe. I think they didn't have no tackles between them. They didn't win it. Either didn't go in for a tackle or didn't win a tackle. I can't remember exactly what it was. One of the two. It was unbelievable. And as a pair, you would have thought Skip would have been the better player. I think for 20 plus million he came in for. If you bought him for 10 million, you'd have thought, yeah, okay, then it's only 10 million. But 20 plus million, he hasn't given me 20 plus million vibes, really. Skip hasn't. And like you say, I think that both of them are just squad members and come in when players are injured. I mean, who would have thought it, Chris, 3 weeks ago would have said, oh, how badly we're missing Wilf and Sumari.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have never, they would be made scapegoats, weren't they, 3 weeks ago? Now all of a sudden it's Danny Ward the scapegoat.
I've got to hold my hand up here and say when we played, Brentford, after that game, I was like, get Ndidi out of my club now. Take him out. I don't mean just take him out of the club. I mean somebody get a contract out on him and take him out.
But if I remember rightly, Ndidi was playing further upfield then, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's been dropped back into his normal position now, with holding midfield. So I think that's wrong. In the Championship, it was fantastic when in the Championship Wilf was last year. Unbelievable. But as a number 10 in the midfield or number 8, whatever they call it now, so I get fed up with these numbers. Like transition and low block. Transition is just a pass. That's all it is, just a pass. Lost it in transition. It's just a pass. But
he's the one that I don't understand. But there we go. But he was my man of the match against West Ham.
Him or Sumari would have been my man of the match against West Ham. Either one. And who would have thought that a few weeks ago?
Well, I mean, Sumari, he's almost like a new signing, isn't it? Now that we've got him.
I don't think, Chris, the central midfield needs any work as long as we haven't got injuries. We've got 3 injuries out. We've got 3 injured players. Winks, Wilf, Sumari was suspended, wasn't he? Sorry, not injured. So we had 3 players out for Newcastle. So I honestly don't think we need, because you've got the backup of, because you won't play 3, you'll play 2 of them 3, I would have thought.
Yeah.
And then you've got backup of them, and then you've got backup for them. So as long as the injuries don't get any worse, and just depends how long Wilf's out for, and hopefully Winks is nearly back, isn't he? Because
he's on the grass.
He's back on the grass. So hopefully we'll see Winks on Sunday, and then with Sumari, and then you'll have Skip on the bench. And then I don't think the midfield is a great problem as long as we don't get any more injuries. So I think we've saved a few quid there, Chris, actually, in midfield.
I think we have. And can I just say, when we're talking about Winks being back on the grass, we don't mean Davy Coote style.
Definitely not.
Just for the lawyers, I just need to make
definitely
that
not
clear. No.
Or Robbie Fowler's hat-trick celebration a few years ago.
Yes, I remember that. He got booked for that, I think, as well, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah. On the wings, look, we know Fataru's out for the rest of the season. I like McAteer. I think he's playing really well. A couple of times he's been taken off. I've been surprised. Brunette couldn't play against Brighton. He was tied, but he came back, didn't have a brilliant game, but then who did, really?
No.
And obviously, you've got Mavididi, who, to me, I'm worried he's turning into Gray here, because he plays well when he comes on as a sub, as an impact sub, but when you start him, absolutely doesn't perform at all.
I mean, all the fans wanted, well, not all the fans, a lot of fans wanted him. Even I wanted him on the pitch against Newcastle, thinking, he could cause some trouble.
Yeah.
But he just, I don't know, he just looked lazy and disinterested. Even a bit for the Brighton game, even the West Ham game, he looked a bit disinterested at home. It's weird how it was so different last year. The style of, well, not the style of football, because last year, the style of, everyone knows I didn't really like Enzo's style of football at all. Too much tappy for my bloody liking. being a bit of an old school dinosaur, what everyone keeps calling me.
2, that's what you want,
I
isn't
know.
it?
Oh, no, that's, yeah, you've heard me before. 4-4, bloody 2, yeah. But yeah, so I like the wingers going down the line and crossing, which is what I thought there would have been under Van Nistelrooy, which is how he used to play at PSV. Get the wingers, get them in, get the crosses over to people in the box with the number 10s and the strikers running onto it, making the late runs. But it hasn't quite worked. And I think maybe the instructions aren't there. McAteer doesn't seem to do it. I don't know. Fatterer, like you say, is not. He's the one that gets people off the seats at games, isn't he? The old-fashioned Stevie Lynex, Steve Guppy kind of thing. They get, are you about to? Yeah, something happens. But we haven't got that at the minute when there's no one there to do that. And as for money, as for whether we need a new winger, I think I don't know, Chris. It's tough because you just don't know, do you? You really don't know injuries and stuff like that, and it's hard work.
For me, I would say that the midfield isn't the main area we need to look at.
No,
I think if we don't do anything in the midfield, as long as everybody stays reasonably fit or not all suspended at the same time, I think we're pretty much there. Up front worries me. Everybody knows I wasn't Dakova Reed's biggest fan. When we did a rating show at the end of Cooper's reign. Talking of old school, O-level rankings, A, B, C, and D, and U. I'm afraid I gave him a U-, and I wouldn't let Brad give him a U+. That's how much I was anti-Dakova Reed. Look, he's proved, under a new manager, he may be able to do it. We've got to let Edouard go. He's obviously in, for me, he's in on loan. If we, whilst that is the case, we can't get anybody else in. We're only allowed 2 loan players, as you know. Brunetti is not, hopefully, will be with us till the end of the season. So it's got to be Edouard. He's not even making the squad now. Surely he's got to go.
He has, isn't he? I think, but the Palace chairman said, oh, no, we don't want him back. So we can't just sit there. If we want to send him back, we can send him back if we don't cancel the loan and stuff like that by mutual agreement. So they'll be lumped with him. But I mean, we tried to sign him a few years ago for I think 30-odd million, I think it was, before he went to Palace. Yeah. It was unbelievable. And he was scoring goals left, right, centre. And it's just the same. Some people
that was in Scotland. Come on.
No, it was. Yes, it was for Scotland. But I know you can say it's a bit of a farmers' league up there for anybody in Scotland. But we definitely need. But where do we go with that loan? Do we get rid of him and bring in a defender on loan, or do we bring a striker on loan? I'm not sure we can bring Cannon back because I think he's the same as Suter, that he's played that many games. We can't call him back. Daka, do we go keep Daka? Well, Daka will be always on the bench with Vardy. Vardy's not going to last every single game, although he started the last 4 games, I think it is. And he has. When we played West Ham, that was his first start in a midweek game after a Saturday game for I think since last year. I think it was. And then, so if we get Edouard go, whether we go for one of the youngsters in the under 21s like Jake Evans or Mongo as well, I'm not sure whether they're any youngsters. 17, I think one's 17 and one's 15. I think. Will Alves? You just don't know, do you?
Don't start me on Alves. We'll come on to him in a second because I have to get on my soapbox about Alves. But Edouard, all I'm thinking of, we're never going to use him. We're having to pay a portion of his wages and probably a loan fee as well. I would have thought that if we said you got to go back, we can send him back. I would have thought that would have been because he's not. Palace can't be. Well, it says what they think of him. If they're happy him stopping there, not even getting on the bench.
I know it's weird, isn't it? Strange.
Yeah. But Daka, look, he scored the goal the other week, and I thought he was going to put it into row double Z, or as I call it, schlup it.
I think a lot of people.
Maybe he's got another life under Rude. AU, he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. He's got some good goals, but he's not a starter again.
No, he's more of impact. He's more impact, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. And the same with Dakova Reed as well. So whether we need another striker, it depends how good Daka turns out to be. They've got, another 3 games to show the manager what they can do. I know with Daka, obviously, Rude wanted him at PSV.
PSV.
Yeah.
So, Chris, question for you: how much do you think we've spent so far? Then, just now, just talking about it, the last half hour, couple of 100 million. Do you think?
Well, we've only got 3 players in. I think we've done very well. We've reserved ourselves. I think
Yeah. If we get a loan in, then Edouard's got to go. But I'm not sure where we get the loan in. Do we get a defensive loan and hopefully have like a buy to loan or whatever they call it nowadays for a defender, and then get a striker in, buy a striker? But strikers this time of year are top dollar, isn't they?
They are. I think for me, the loan would go to the goalkeeper, because we've got Mads, and as long as he's fit, he's obviously always going to start. Stolarczyk, when he gets back to fit, is a worthy number 2, and it's only if those two are unavailable, like the weekend, that we need somebody else to come in. So maybe use that loan on a goalkeeper for 6 months and see how Stolarczyk is in 6 months' time. Although, having said that, in 6 months' time, of course, we could lose Mads.
Well, yeah, we could lose him in January, but now he's got a bit injured. Is somebody going to pick him up just after an injury? You don't know how susceptible that is to be injury. I tell you what, there's one person we have forgot at fullback, Chris, that could come in on loan. Ben Chilwell.
Oh, God, don't. Thank you very much.
He's available, though. He's not playing, and we know what we get from him. I know he doesn't like taking throw-ins in front of Millwall players and fans, but he's available.
He like doing an awful lot in front of our fans. He would get roasted, and that'll be the home fans.
But yeah, when you think about it, we haven't spent that much, really, have we, between us tonight?
No, we've literally just bought 1 goalkeeper and 2 defenders.
Yeah, and a loan somewhere along the line. Yeah.
If one of those isn't a loan, one of those. But look, I appreciate you've got to go because you've got another show coming up later, mate. Really?
No, I'm going out for a meal. It's Spain. We go out late, don't we? We go out late in a midweek. It's not early. It's not English anymore. We go out late. So yeah. So I'm going out at 9 o'clock for.
What 2 hours ahead of us there now?
No, only an hour. It's 9:15. It's 8:30 now. So just quickly get my trousers on, go out for a couple of cervezas and a bit of tapas with some friends. Late night dinner. That's what it is.
Well, I'm glad you're going to put your trousers on.
I have really got some on. I've got some trousers on here, but proper trousers. I mean, going out trousers.
We'll believe you. Look, Jamie, thanks so very much. Have a good night out. Enjoy your meal.
You're welcome, Chris. See you later. Thanks a lot, pal.
Take care, buddy. Cheers. Bye bye. And don't forget, Jamie's links are in the description below. Just click on those. Leicester Fan TV, and don't forget at Fox's Arms Alcudia. I think it is. It's in below the link to his cafe. If you're ever going over to Alcudia, get over there and enjoy a meal. Somebody else who will probably cook a meal for you if you turn up at his door. Craig, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everyone. Yes, turn up at the door, and as long as you bring the pizza, I'll warm it up for you.
Oh, you're such
I can't say fairer than that. I know.
You can't.
I'm selfish.
You are. I've said this about you many times. But, look, just thanks for popping on. We just had Jamie on, we've sort of gone through the team. And I just want to see if you sort of agree with where we went and get a third opinion. And then at the end, we'll go through sort of some questions from the viewers. We split it down into goalkeepers, defence, midfield, and forward as to what we need. Now, goalkeepers, we were linked today in the Mercury with Thomas Kaminski from Luton, who I believe we were linked with under Cooper. God help us.
Yeah.
But apparently he's not a bad young keeper. I mean, we've already got 4 keepers. 3 of them are injured at this particular moment. One of them's our main one. Stolarczyk, although he's back on the bikes and back on the grass, I believe. Everson, I'm not sure when he's come back. And I hate to say it, but Danny Ward. Yeah, I mean,
two things. I mean, I thought the criticism of Danny Ward against Newcastle was a bit harsh. To be fair,
it was.
I thought it was over the top. I think. I mean, I was talking to Scott, and he said some guy came on his channel and was just banging on about Danny Ward shouldn't be at the club, this, that, and the other. And Scott had been to the game. And he said, "Oh, were you there? Did you watch it?" He said, "No, but I just saw that he'd let 3 in." And that's the level of sort of hatred
But that, in
now,
fairness,
hatred is a strong word, but
I know what you mean. But that's Leicester. We need a scapegoat, Leicester fans. We talked about Chilwell then with Jamie. Look, he got it before he left, didn't he? You know, and he was England left back at the time. I watched it and I absolutely went mad on my watch along because people were coming in. Look, everybody's entitled to an opinion. My opinion's not right. That yours isn't right. We've all got our own opinions. To me, he came on. We were pounded in those first 15 minutes of the second half. A goalkeeper can't do much if the defence in front of him is shit, and the defence against Newcastle was shit. You could not. I don't think if you'd had Schmeichel, Shilton, and Banks behind those 4 defenders, all 3 of them playing together, would have still let a goal in. It was over the top. It really, really was. And everybody was saying, like, well, the defence has got to have confidence in the keeper. But the keeper's also got to have confidence in the defence.
True.
Yeah.
What I would have... See, I know he's taken a lot of stick this season as well. I don't think you'd have seen the performance out of Isak that we saw if Wout Faes had been playing. And I'll tell you why, because Wout Faes would have been on him from the first minute and been very physical with him and not allowed him to go running past 4 or 5 defenders at once. He may have given a few free kicks away outside the area, but I don't think we would have given those goals away because he was just running through with nobody getting anywhere near him. And I think they're the kinds of games where you need someone who's a little bit more physical, shall we say, to let the centre forward know that he's in a battle. And I don't think we did that at all with Isak in that game.
This is the Wout phase that didn't get 1 tackle in against Brentford.
Yeah, that's him.
I just wanted to check. We're talking about the same Wout phase, you know. But
I don't think he would have stood back and watched those play. Watched him run through our defence like 4 or 5 times, to be honest. But anyway, we're on about the keeper. I mean, I read that Stolarczyk played for the under-21s the other night.
Yeah.
So I fully expect him to come in, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then you're back down to Danny Ward having, you know, the next slot.
Depending on how soon Everson gets fit, of course. Scott said earlier, I think Ward and Everson's contracts up at the end of the season. It's almost tempting to pay Ward off and just to get him out. Everson, I think, was unfortunate. But look, Stolarczyk was number 2 last season. I mean, look, Ward's there. We know Ward was on the bench because Stolarczyk and Everson were both injured. If we get another keeper in permanently and somebody like the guy from Luton, then I think it says that, well, somebody's got to go, haven't they?
Yeah. I'd be surprised, to be honest, if any keeper worth his salt is coming in thinking that as soon as Hermansen's fit, I'm going to be on the bench? 3rd choice? If we've got limited funds available, personally, I wouldn't be spending them there. But, you know.
You agree with us then, because we had a question mark against that.
I think if Stolarczyk is fit, then Stolarczyk comes back in, and then hopefully, you know, Hermansen. I don't think we've had an update. I must admit, I've not done my usual in-depth research for this show, Chris.
Well, short notice, in fairness.
Yeah, so I don't know how long, if there's been any update on Hermansen on the length of his injury. I know I
haven't seen anything coming into here. It's not mentioned.
But yeah, I think if you do get someone, I think it's got to be a loan, surely, not spending money to purchase, because then you just end up with another one on the back. You need another one in the squad.
Into this loan then, because we've got 2 loan players, which is the most we can have. We've got Buenete, and let's be honest with you, he's not going anywhere. In fact, you know, on the last game of the season, I think we should kidnap him and hide him and not let him out. And then there's Edouard. Now, look, Jamie was just saying he thinks that Crystal Palace have said we don't want him back. which probably sums it up possibly. But I don't think if it's a loan and we say, look, we don't want him anymore, we can send him back.
I think it all comes down to what's in the agreement, whether it's a season-long loan, whether it is one that's got a break written in it that either one can either call them back or we can send them back, which is what you would hope for, because it is pointless at the minute having somebody on the wage bill who's nowhere near getting a kick, to be honest, unless, and this may have been overlooked, he's good in goal.
Funny enough, well, I put Ward up front a minute ago before you came on.
Well, there you go then.
Who knows? I mean, I'm reading a lot in the press, and I don't mean, websites, that's written by people like you and me. I mean, like, even Leicestershire Live, but BBC and all those, they're hinting that Edward may be looking at being let go. So if they're hinting at that, they must know that there's an option that he can do. So that would then release a loan available. And to me, 100%, as I just said then, that loan becomes available. Presuming we don't come and agree and we want anybody up front, we could use it for the goalkeeper, definitely. Depending on fitness of the others. Now, defence. What we're going to do about defence? Well, the man with the hammer's coming in the morning to mend it. Ta-da, thank you. I'd say I'm here all week, but I'm not. You can't look for a way out. I've locked you in.
Looking.
I had a word with the missus. She's locked all the doors. You can't go anywhere. We're obviously disagreeing at the moment on Wout Faes because you speak.
Well, that was just on that game. I didn't like the way that we just let him run and run and run.
Yeah.
That anybody, it used to be, again, you and I talk a lot about, the olden times.
When we were lads and lived in cardboard box on M62.
But days before we won league. And there was that old one of, let them know that you're there. Let them make them have to win the physical battle before they can win anything else. And that, I think, is where we're lacking at the minute. Yes. And yes, we do have defenders who go walkabout, but we also have defenders who are a little bit too nice for me. And I just think that was a game where you needed to be a bit more physical and knock them out.
Yes, definitely. Do you get, or do you do what I do, which is very much fall into those YouTube holes where you watch something and then an hour later you've watched about another 20 things?
Yeah, TikTok's the one that gets me a lot as well. Yeah.
And I was watching last night. Please do not ask me how I got onto this. I was watching Leicester West Ham from the title-winning season when Vardy got sent off. Yeah. And my God, the defence then, Huth and Morgan, you knew they were there, like you said.
Exactly. Nobody got a free ride. You earned it. If you got chances, you earned it. But you knew you were in a game. And any of these players now, and a lot of the forwards, are a lot more fragile. Some are a bit tougher. There's certain ones in the Premier League who would as soon a pinch of glasses off an old bloke than buy him a cup of tea. But there are some strikers, who don't like a physical battle, and you need to establish that early on. And I think it's about horses for courses, So they're all of our defenders have their limitations, and it's about picking the right one. And Cody and Vestergaard give you the experience, but they also give you a lack of pace, and I think a lack of physicality.
And the turning circle, as I said earlier, of the Titanic. But look, I mean, I was quite pleased when I saw, when I first saw Cody and Vestergaard a couple of games ago. But Cody, to me, he looks like he's auditioning for the Dancing on Ice or whatever it's called, because all he seems to do is want to go sliding in, and all he does is he goes down, slides in, misses the ball completely, and he's out of the game. Jamie was saying he would love a young centre back.
What kind of like a Harry Suter type?
Yes, yeah. I know, but he's not keen on Harry Suter, and he's not going to come back. Apparently, he's played too many games to come. Excuse me, to come back.
Yeah, I don't know. I never knew that was a rule. Oh, we send you out on loan, no, and they play you. What kind of rule is that?
I think what he was saying was like with was it Luckman when we had him that if you play over a certain number of games, you had to sign them. Oh, Youngus it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he hasn't. I didn't. I wasn't aware that they had a compulsory purchase on them.
No,
I don't think anybody knows, to be honest. Yeah. I think if there's something written in that you can bring him back, then you can bring him back.
Yeah,
I know. I don't think any of us have seen enough of Suter to make a real judgment on him.
And he was doing very well when we bought him. He was one of the top defenders, and he's doing very well. Is it Sheffield United he's at now? And he's doing
he's done very well whenever he's played international football as well. So
I would have him back, and of course we're then saving money as well.
Yeah, because I honestly think, I know I don't want to get off track here, but I think the way we are at the minute, we probably need to go to like 3 centre halves and try and protect the goal a little bit more, to be honest. Rather than just having a back two who get exposed, because we have fullbacks who
we could just buy a Sherman tank and put that in front of the goal.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, why don't we see if Neville Southall's available?
Oh, you bitch! I do know what you mean. Yeah. So we've got Yannick, we've got a Coley who's still, I think, to find his feet, no pun intended, in this debut. I think he's not taken to it maybe as much as other players have, but I think he will come good, in fairness. Faze, maybe for the last 10 minutes we need a bit of speed, but I think we need either, whether it's bringing Suter back, which I would be very happy with. I don't think he's done anything wrong particularly. And as much as I wanted Cody for his experience and his talking and organisation, he's scared me these last few games. Yeah. He really has. I think we've agreed, and I don't think you'll argue with this, Luke Thomas needs to go. I don't think he's got a future with us now, has he?
No, although I was told, and again, I didn't see it, that he was the only one who played. Did he play against Brentford?
To be totally honest with you, my therapist has said not to talk about the Brentford game.
Yeah, well, whenever he played, by all accounts, from what I'd heard, he was the only one who came out with it with any credit. But again, I don't think it's the future. But no. But then again, I don't think you're going to get much money for him. So
no, you're not. But maybe just getting him off the wage bill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe. Yeah. But the thing is, as well, if we forget, if Thomas is sidelined, you've then got 2 fullbacks at the moment, Christensen and Justin.
Yeah.
What I was saying was, to me, Justin, he struggles on the right. I know he can play on his CV. It says left back and right back, but to me, he is much, much better on the left. Now, that means dropping Christensen, and I like Christensen, but Christensen frustrates me. Whenever he goes forward, he stops and comes back.
Yeah.
On the few times when I see him go forward and put a cross in, he's really, really good. And I just wish he'd do that more. So I'd be quite happy. And we can't rely on Ricardo, unfortunately. As much as we all love him, he's never been 100% right since his injury. And if we don't get another right back in and hope that Ricardo comes back, and it's probably not going to be till March anyway, he could be back 2 weeks and get injured again. So to my mind, for me, a right back is essential.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I mean, again, it always comes down.
You hate saying you agree with me, don't you? You hate.
Yeah, so I'll say, I'd much rather say I don't disagree.
Yes.
Again, it's got to be someone who's going to better the team, and you may have done some checking and seen who's available or who's out there. No one really springs to mind for me. Who you might get who's proven to improve the squad, to be honest. I don't know. Did any names come up?
to be honest with you, it's that time of year, isn't it, where there's so many names being bandied about for different positions. Like I said, the goal and what have you. To my mind, I would drop down to the Championship and
Right.
get somebody in from the Championship. Because look, we've not done bad when Sutar, I accept and what have you, but there's some good players in the Championship.
Are we talking? Are we talking purchases here rather than loans?
It possibly would have to be a purchase because I don't think Ricardo is a long-term solution because of his ongoing injuries.
Yeah, I was just going to think if it's anyone coming from the Championship, surely it has to be a purchase because if you're not getting a game in the Championship, you're not going to be able to make a difference in the Premier League, I would have thought. So therefore, there's not going to be a loan player.
No. I agree. Also, so from the Championship, I would want somebody to come in permanently, and that would probably be one we got to buy. There is money available apparently, so we just not too much, I don't think. So what I would do is bring a right back in and move Justin over with Christensen option maybe to come on. But at least I would do with Justin is he does go forward more. And I know Christensen goes forward, but he always stops and comes back, and it ends up back with Madsen Manson or somebody.
Well, I think that's what makes me think that a 3 at the back might be better off, to be honest, because we're not necessarily getting a tune out of any of the wingers anyway. No. I don't think McAteer is a Premier League player at all.
Really?
No, nothing that I've seen of McAteer tells me that he is a Premier League player. For me.
I'm not going to disagree with you. No, because you go to the home matches, so you see him live. I only see what I see on the TV, and that's you don't see movement off the ball or anything like that.
Exactly. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, no, you don't see that. Well, there is no movement off the ball. There's no coming to demand it. There's no awareness of what to do when he's got it. He's not decisive enough. He's somebody who you could probably bring off the bench to run around a bit, but there's no way that he, for me, is going to be at the level that we need to sustain Premier League football. So therefore, if Mavididi is far too inconsistent at the moment as well, and doesn't appear to want to do the defensive duty, and I think a lot of that, neither of them do, which leaves the fullbacks exposed. When you've got fullbacks who want to bomb on, you've got to have midfielders or wingers who are aware of the position and will fill in, and I don't think we've got that. So for me, if you're playing 3 centre halves, it allows those two to concentrate on what they're doing well, which is get forward, and you take the wingers out of it, which allows you to fill the midfield.
Didn't Mavididi get back quite a bit last season, or was that Fatawu?
I think they both did in certain games, but again, I think the biggest thing that I think Rude's got to turn around is the attitude.
Yeah,
because that doesn't seem to be there for me. That sort of, we had a little bit. We show it in patches, and that's the most frustrating thing. We saw it against Brighton. There was I saw a bit of the game last night where there was a graphic that came up about goals scored past the 80th minute, goals scored 90 plus or whatever, and we're high in both of those. So we keep going during the game, but it's usually because we're chasing a game. What we need is to stay in a game where we've got a clean sheet or we're level going into the last 90 minutes or so, or last 10 20 minutes. So I think having that more solid defense of a 3 may be able to keep us in games long enough, and then he needs to sort out the attitude, but then it allows us to sort of push on in wide positions. But you're right, Mavididi and Fatawu are both capable of it if their attitude is right.
Yeah. Jamie said exactly the same. Who thought we'd be saying this? We missed Ndidi and Sumari.
Yeah.
In the Brentford game, I said it earlier, I wanted him out the club, not just out the pitch, out the club. And yet against West Ham, he was my man of the match. We're not thicker as football fans, are we? But no, that was the change in his performance. And as I said, I'm willing to give all the players, let's see what a clean sheet under Rude. Indeed, I'm not sure how long he's out for. It's a couple of games at least, I think. Winks could be back. Samori definitely back because it was a suspension for him.
Yeah.
So he will be back. Skip, I want to like him. I think there's a decent player in there. But I think if Winks is fit, he starts. Is that centre midfield, do you feel, is somewhere we need to get somebody in?
I think so. I'm not 100% convinced by any of them, I think is the problem. I think Samari plays in patches and we can't afford it. And this is the big thing. We've got too many players who play for 20 minutes and then they'll have a 10-minute break and then they may do another 10 minutes. And Samari did that. There was like a 10-minute, 15-minute period, I think, in the Brighton game when Ndidi went off. All of a sudden, it was like Samari had gone off and they'd brought another Samari on because he just started picking up the ball, driving through the middle of midfield that he hadn't done until Ndidi went off. It was almost like, right, okay, I'm going to show you who I am now. I'm the main man in this midfield. I'm going to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
But I don't see it enough again. And this is the problem. We don't have 70, 80, 90 minutes out of any of our players at the moment. So I think there is you can make a strong case for strengthening that midfield. Someone who can just sit in there and dictate a game and I don't think we have that, to be honest. Someone who has got enough about them. Even Winks and that Skip, there's a good player in Skip, but he doesn't exude confidence of I'm gonna own this. I'm gonna set the tempo. I don't think we've got that in any of our midfielders. And it's a rare thing to get it, but there are players out there.
Do you think we need, like, I don't know, just throw this idea at you, like a quarterback? Maybe is it? Maybe
that's it. Someone who can just receive the ball and get things moving again. Yes. I don't think we have it. I mean, it was interesting. I know that there's talk of KDH coming back and him being made available for loan, but I think they also are making that Chukwuemeka available for loan as well, and he's much more in the mould of that type of player. But also, I'd like to see Golding have a game. To be honest, I'd like to see Golding. Let alone have a game. We brought him in, and surely
we haven't seen him. Do you remember years ago the Sun used to have that thing? If you see the Sun man, go up and tap him on the shoulder and say, "I see you, and I claim my £5." That's the thing with Golding, isn't it?
Yeah, because he didn't even. That Cartwright got on the bench for the Newcastle game. It wasn't Golding again. So I don't know. These players are here, and I think. I mean, I keep going off topic slightly, but the post-match interview to me sounds like Ruud is already losing patience with the players. We work all week, we have a game plan, and then the players go out there and they don't execute it, and that's a problem. If that's the case, then those players are not going to be playing. He's going to have to do something. He's going to have to put his own people in, and if we lose a couple of games because they're inexperienced, then we lose a couple of games. But the manager needs to know he can send people out who are going to work on a game plan and execute the game plan. Otherwise, the whole week's training isn't worth it. So he needs to find his men. To find his men.
You said about Golding, there's Cartwright as well. There's Alves. I mean, if I always feel that if Leicester City had got Wayne Rooney when he was 16 and he broke into the Premier League team. If we had him, he wouldn't have broken through into the team yet. Oh, he's not quite ready. He's a bit too young. He's 50. What do you mean he's too young? But that's Leicester. We seem to have these great youngsters, and then now we don't do anything with them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the only youngster we're developing at the moment is for Brighton.
Yes, exactly. So at the moment, you have said you're not too worried about a goalkeeper. Possibly a winger and a midfielder.
Fullback.
And a fullback as well. Sorry, you did say a fullback, although you wouldn't disagree with me if it was the right back.
No, exactly. I'm not overly concerned, as I say, because personally I would look to change the formation a little bit and go to a back three, which negates necessarily having a dedicated fullback. But I think midfield, if there's someone out there who can, who's got the broad shoulders to run a game, then that would be a good move for me.
We have to be careful, I guess, because this is Leicester, that we don't just waste a lot of money on buying players in January because we want numbers in. And, we can't afford to do that. Up front, we've already discussed Edouard. I think we all agree, send him back if we can. It's just, why? What are we doing with him? You know what I mean? We're training him for Palace. Look, we all know our main man up front there, Jamie Vardy, defies age and everything with his vodkas and Red Bulls and all that, and he keeps going on. How? I don't know. If he gets injured, and he can very easily get injured, when you're older, it does take you longer to recover. If that Daka that we saw, was it West Ham? He scored the goal? Yeah. If that's the Daka that we've suddenly actually got, again, we can save a bit of money. And I think the thing with Daka is he's got a manager here that he knows wanted him when he was at PSV. Yeah.
True.
And he will give him that confidence. Look, nobody saw him scoring that goal, did they? We all thought he was going to schlup it into row double Z. And, he put it away. So he would be number 2. Again, Cannon, I don't know what the agreement is there, whether I don't think he's been given a chance, but there's 3 managers. Well, Rude hasn't really had a chance. I think 2 managers that don't like him for some reason, having bought him. You got Dakova Reed, who I'd given a U-2 in the rating so far this season at the end of Cooper's reign. And he should have 2 in 2, but obviously he only got the 1.
Yeah.
But he got again. But he's not a player to come on from the start. He's coming on at the to dig you out of the depth. As is Jordan Ayew, who, in fairness, has surprised me. But again, when he starts, he's useless. He's more of an impact sub. Do we need another striker?
I think if you get in another striker, I'm not sure, because I don't see us making chances. And I think that's the problem that needs to be addressed. We've got wingers who don't want to cross a ball. We've got midfielders who don't get up in support, and we don't get enough bodies in the box. I don't think just putting another striker in there makes any difference if you're not creating chances. If you do get another striker, it's got to be someone who offers something totally different. Because if you're going to play the same way and you're just going to look for another Vardy or Daka, someone with a bit of pace who plays on the shoulder, and then you don't supply those strikers who you've got already, then the only other thing is that you get someone who's got much more of a physical presence, a Chris Wood type player, who can be a little bit more physical with the defenders. You've got to be physical at both ends, to be honest. Because if you've got somebody like Chris Wood is not the best player in the world, but he occupies centre halves. And that means that the players around them get more space and more time to play football. We've got Jamie, who we all love to death, but he's quite happy to just sit and doesn't work hard enough for me anymore. He's got into this zone that Brendan got him into of just conserve your energy and play in bursts. It's very hard to get out of that now, and we're sort of stuck with it. So when you want somebody who's going to run the channels, Jamie doesn't do it anymore. So it would have to be someone different. But for me, it's got to be, we've got to be creating more. We've got to have a stronger base in the defence and the base of that midfield to allow the creative players the freedom and the confidence to go forward and get on the ball more. Because we've got it in Buonanotte, we've got it in El Canous. We've got 2 players who can play in that little pocket and can create things if they're allowed to do it, but we're not getting enough of the ball. So for me, bringing another striker in is probably not a best use of resources.
No, it's like Vardy. I don't think how many touches he got against Newcastle. It wasn't many, but we weren't getting the ball to him. And if you're going to take him off and put Daka on, you just got the same problem if you're
And
not going to get the ball.
And that's not just us. Haaland must walk off the pitches at Man City at the minute and thinking, what's the point of me being here? They don't put a ball in the box.
And long may it continue.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
At least until January.
Exactly.
So for yourself, you're saying, I think with what you've come out with here is it's the defence and midfield that we need to concentrate on in January.
Yes, and that is as much as a organisation and discipline and attitude thing as it is about players. And Ruud needs to stamp that out. I'll throw in a little story that I was told yesterday. Like all stories, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But apparently, and someone else may say this is a load of rubbish, or they may back it up, that Ruud very early on called a meeting of all staff and players at the ground to lay out his vision of what he wanted, what he expected, as much as what he wanted. And everyone was on time for this meeting, apart from our old favourite, Rudkin, who was 5 minutes late, allegedly. Now, this has come from someone who was there, who works at the ground. It's amazing how many thousands of people work at the ground, isn't it? Because everyone knows someone.
No, it wasn't a friend of a friend of a friend.
No. So this is me talking to my brother, who said that a friend of theirs works there and told them this.
Yeah.
So Rudkin was 5 minutes late, but there were also on the back of that, the story was that he was told to be 5 minutes late because Ruud ripped him a new one, because he wanted to show that no one is above it. There is discipline that has to be had on team meetings, punctuality, all of these things, and no one is above it. So that he'd asked him to be late, so he would agree that he would rip into him, that would hopefully show the players that he means business.
Wow.
Now I don't know if that's true, but the same thing happened apparently. Troy Deeney was talking on the radio the other day that when Nigel Pearson went into Watford for his brief reign there, he pulled Troy Deeney aside one day and said, right, tomorrow I'm going to give you the hardest time you've ever had in training. I'm going to lay into you like you've never known before. And it's all because I need the rest of the players to know that I'm not afraid of any of these players, and they're all going to play to my tune. And I need you to be on side and allow me to do that. And he said he agreed to do that. So it's like playing these mind games to let you know who's boss. Because what it seemed is Steve Cooper was one of these managers, a little bit like Gareth Southgate, who wants to be every player's friend.
Yeah.
But there's no discipline there. And players can waltz through games without working hard. So if that is true, if any of that is true, and Ruud is the kind of manager who says, right, this is going to be discipline. If you're not doing my game plans when I send you out there, you're not playing. Then hopefully we'll see a difference with the players that we've actually got. If not, he's going to have to dip into the transfer market.
You've got to really, that the person that you're approaching about that is completely true. I mean, obviously with Rudkin,
exactly, yeah,
he's one of the non-playing members of staff. So you hope, but Troy Deeney, you got to hope that he's going to be on your side. And I suppose the equivalent with, if he was to do it with a player, would be to do it to Jamie Vardy.
Exactly,
Would be
just show nobody is above it. You either fall in line, or you're not going to be at the club very long.
It's true though. You sit there and you see the best player in the team getting torn off a leg. You think, bloody hell, But fair play. Well, we'll find out in a couple of weeks, Craig, what is going to happen. But thank you very much for popping on.
You're welcome, mate.
I will see you tomorrow at 8:00 for the big Christmas show. I hope you got your Christmas hat ready.
Yeah, I'll have a Christmas hat. I've rehearsed my my song and dance number, so it all should be great.
I didn't know you knew about that.
Yeah, I have my sources.
There's a lot of surprises coming up tomorrow night. This may be the end of the channel. Who knows? 8:00 tomorrow. Thanks very much for popping on, Craig. All the best to you and your family.
Cheers,
have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you soon. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye. Right, let me just press the button. Thanks very much to Craig there for popping on. Really, really do appreciate it. And as I said then, we will be back tomorrow for the Christmas Spectacular. I mean, I might be building it up a little bit better than it actually is. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock tomorrow. We're just going to have a laugh. We're going to get the carrots out for Rudolph, the mince pies out for ourselves, the drinks as well, and we're going to have a laugh. And it'll be the last program before Christmas because I am going to have some time off. But let me finally catch up with some comments, and I do apologise, guys, but let me just go all the way back here and get your comments up. Prashant, hello. Scott, hi mate, how are you doing? Wayne, evening lads. We need some positive transfer gossip. Someone with a name like Albert Cheesebro. My God, Wayne, you're going back. Having said that, I'd have him on now. He can't do any worse than this bunch that turned up on at the weekend. Ray is in. Excuse me, just get a drink. Hi Ray, how you doing? Good news apparently, says Scott. The Saudi League are prepared to pay for Danny Ward. You've been drinking. You have. We hear about Mad's injury. Well, we need to hear about it by Thursday. I think we'll know by Thursday, which is obviously the press conference. Or is it? It might be Friday the press conference because our game's on Sunday. So Archie made it through that under-21 match. Yeah, start him. Yeah, I think the problem is if Mads is out, whoever we start that isn't Danny Ward is going to be, well, I don't know, he's played a game, so he may not be as rusty as we think. At least he's had a game under his belt. We do need to get reserve football back. We really do. Look, as Jamie and Craig both said there, look, Ward isn't a Premier League goalkeeper. He isn't the best goalkeeper, not just in our club, but in our county. But at the moment, he's the only fit keeper. Still Archie coming back, hopefully, fingers crossed. Thing is, if you rush these players back too soon, they just get injured again. Look at Ricardo. That said, fingers crossed that Mads will be back. Yeah, Scott, I think I said this, didn't I? Because I saw this earlier. Everson and Ward are both out of contract at the end of the season. I saw your comment earlier. I don't know. Everson, I feel a bit sorry for. Because I don't think he'd done anything wrong, but still Archie just came out of nowhere. Hi, Joe, how you doing? There are benches to be warmed in Braggy Park. Or keeping between the sticks in Switzerland. Are they bad? I don't know. It's been a while. I confirmed transfer Ward and Everson. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Well, look, he's got contacts. He'll know some of the younger players. And some of the players that are available at Manchester United, also PSV as well. They do. He's having a brilliant season. What has he done wrong, Sutar? What has he done wrong at Leicester since we got him? He came in the relegation season in January. He didn't really get much of many games. And then he's been loaned out since then. I really don't know what the poor guy's done. 100,000 million trillion %, Prashant. I think I exaggerated a little bit there. Can anybody throw the boots on, mate? Joe, Foxes might play right back. Faze might. Oh no, not Faze at right back. I suppose there's always that opportunity that suddenly we move a player and he's suddenly the best thing since sliced bread. I've never liked JJ at right back. I love JJ as a player. He can play in both, but left back is his main position. Cooper, we could be looking at a player here who's had his confidence absolutely shattered by an idiotic manager. Look, last season, Enzo should have taken Daka out of that team and taking him out of the limelight. He left him in too much. He was ruined when he came off in that game away to Plymouth. Daka was ruined as a player. He should have been taken out ages. So I do blame Enzo for that. And Cooper, I'm buying experienced players, he said in the summer. I'm not going to be accused of not having the experience to put a fight up and stay up. Oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep probably my most experienced Premier League player still at this club. I'm going to keep him on the sidelines. That's crap Cooper for you, though, isn't it? Connor Bradley getting regular football. Remind me who he is. We need a fullback and a right winger. Godfrey been linked, and I'd go for Amaroon at Newcastle. Right wing, not sure I've spelled his name right. Also, bring back KDH. I was reading today whether KDH would come back. He would. Don't get me wrong, he would. But the deal looks a little bit complicated. There was links with Barnes as well. I'd have both of them back, but we can't. If we've got KDH and we've also got Barnes, we can't have both of them. We'd have to let Edouard go to bring another loanee in, so we couldn't have KDH and Barnes. KDH probably the more likely, simply because he's not playing Premier League football, but he is playing for you in the European. He is in the European squad. Of course, as Jamie said earlier, Chilwell. Jamie. Keith, my fear is, and I hope I'm wrong, but with the talk of KDH coming back, I could see Mads Manson going the other way. I mean, this is why, if we are looking at another goalkeeper, I think it could be Matt, with the thought at the back of the mind that Mads Manson might go at the end of the season. I don't want him to. Really don't want him to. However, I could see it happening. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether. I know what you're saying. I'd love Cannon back. Bring Cannon back. Talking amongst themselves. Oh, we're having a 4-4-2 reunion. That's good. That was that. Yeah. We should play 4-4-2. Rude likes it. Rude goes into that, doesn't he, when we're going defensive, I think it is. So let's do it. Michael Lee, look, it's the time of goodwill to all men. I extended the hand out to Jamie. Jamie very nicely accepted it and has come on. We hadn't fallen out. And look, you know, a lot of people say a lot of different things. I have a lot of respect for the guys at Leicester Fan TV. And I was never actually on. I was only ever the guest, maybe once every couple of months. I wasn't a regular presenter. Other channels presenters that have come from being regular presenters there have fallen out with them more than I have. Because I was only ever popped on once every 8 weeks or so. So yeah, you know. But it is the time of goodwill. Life's too short. Life is too short. Dakota Reed was really looking like a waste, but he showed that he's not under AVN and hoping. This is it, isn't it? This is it. Every player's got to be given a chance, and when he has come on, he's not let us down in this one. Maybe Rude can get a tune out of him, like maybe with Daka. Chowdhury, no. You said the same thing twice, Michael. I don't. As I said, this channel doesn't have a problem with LFTV at all. Other channels do. We haven't collaborated much because, to be honest with you, I've got other channels that I collaborate with. But like I say, Jamie very kindly came on. 14,000 for Edward. Take it or leave it. He's on loan. We don't even have to sell him. Cheers, Jamie. Yeah, thanks very much to Jamie. Hope we can get KDH on loan. You two are like kids looking through the Argos catalogue. I'll just tap the number in. Let's get Dewsbury Hall back on loan. KDH, yes. I would agree with that. Craig, not his biggest fan, but he thought he could do a job sometime. What phase is worst centre half in the country? What's he drinking? January window could affect us for literally years to come. If it's done wrong, yes. If it is done wrong, I am worried. We've not got a lot of money to spend, and I don't want us to waste it. Going out, look, AU we got for 3 years. The Cobra Reed, I think we've got for 3 years. They wouldn't have come probably for less. AU turned down 2 years at Fulham to come to us. Or was it Palace? Wherever he was. Fulham, I think it was. So we have to, but yeah, we've got to be very, very, very careful. We need a young, fast centre back, as our defence is slow. When opposition attackers through on goal, they're not getting back to help as they are too slow. But can't argue with that. Golding, Cartwright, etc., should be given an opportunity to play. So should Alves. Look, we've got all these supposedly great youngsters. Let's use them. Right back, right winger, quick centre back, an absolute must. Yeah. And thanks, Craig. And thanks to Jamie as well. Look, the links to everybody is in the description below. We are going to be back at Wednesday. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock, like I say, for the Christmas special. Please join us then. We're not going to be talking transfers or players. We're just going to be basically chatting shit, and we'll probably get banged as well, if truth be known. So join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks to everybody. Remember, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. It all helps the channel. Thanks to everybody for being in. Really do appreciate it. Thanks to Jamie from Leicester Fan TV. Appreciate him coming on. And thanks to Craig as well. And I will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Take care now. I'm just going to go and just add my money up and see how much I've got here. Here we go. 24 million plus that, 28 million.
Thank you for watching. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's all, folks.